Hi there. Today we are going to be taking a look at this Medion all-in-one touchscreen, presumably computer that used to run Windows 7. First of all, I need to find the power brick for it because I don't have its original power brick, and I also don't think it has a hard drive inside of it, and I want to also check how much memory it has. So yeah, let's get to it. This seems to have a barrel, I think that's what it's called, power brick, and it takes 19 volts, 7.1 amps. This is also the model number, so Akoya, okay, I guess. Anyway, any year, AIO 2010, I think it's 2010. Yeah, all this. But anyway, I want to make this work for my daughters to watch cartoons, and being touchscreen, they should be able to change what they are watching. Let me start by opening this flap right here. I think this has a TV tuner in it, but if it's a plug-in one, I might actually take it out because I'm not using a cable on this thing. It will only be connected to internet. Hopefully it has Wi-Fi in it. Doesn't this want to pop out? Yeah, put a screwdriver in it. That's smart moving, isn't it? What? Yeah, clips, and then I think it kind of gets to be pulled from, and some old stickers in here still holding it in place, and lots of clips all over the place. But anyway, I'm not going to be using anything like this. Back in the day, those were the bee's knees. Today, just a hassle. And without a proper digital tuner, at least in my area, I'm basically getting almost nothing. So if it's unpluggable, it will be unplugged, so I can save a little bit of power, because daughters will be playing with this a lot. Yeah. That one is almost tripping, so be back in a second. So let's see what we have here, and I just popped out the antenna from that one, so it is a TV tuner. Maybe I can sell it. There's a good chance that somebody out there is actually searching for something like this. For me, doesn't do me absolutely any good. It has a Wi-Fi card, which is good. I will connect it through Wi-Fi, and 2 sticks of memory in here. So let me see how much RAM this thing has. If it has 4 gigabytes, it might be enough for my daughter's needs. If it's only 2 gigs, then we have a problem. Oh, 4 gigs. So 2 sticks of 2 gigs, because they seem to be identical. Okay, I can deal with 4 gigs. We will be putting Windows 10 on it. And apart from either Edge or Google Chrome, nothing else. So this will be quite light, and it will be able to do what it needs to do with 4 gigs of memory. I have no clue what this is in here. Maybe it's a daughter board for all of this, most likely. Something deep in there also. Okay. Yeah, so this most likely will be coming out. I don't really need it. Or maybe I will even ignore it and it will stay in there just for the lols. So now, let's open this. I'm expecting to have the old place where hard drive used to be. And when I say used to be, I'm actually really wrong, because it seems my friend that gave me this thing actually left the hard drive in it. Probably he didn't need it for anything. So, yeah. Okay, what I think I will do, I will search a little bit online how much power one of these consumes. I'm also replacing it with an SSD, absolutely, with a 240 gig SSD. But if this consumes a lot of power, then I think I can also downgrade the 7.1 amp power brick to maybe 6 amp, 5 amp or something like that, because we are not using this anymore. So yeah. And here we have a few figures. So it is quite a lot, but a bit less than I expected. I was thinking 10 to 15 watts. So yeah, let's say we are in the middle of the road, maybe 8 watts, but we are still putting an SSD in there. So let's say 2 watts. So yeah, we are decreasing about 6 watts from the consumption. So that means at 19 volts, yeah, 0.3 amps or something around there, even 0.5, but that means we still need a brick that could output 6.6 amps. So yeah, we did not decrease it a lot. Just for the lols, I will actually connect this back up. You know what, at the end of the day it consumes at 3.3 watts half an amp. So that's about 1.5 amps maximum, 1.5 watts maximum, 2 watts when doing stuff. When it's idling, maybe it's barely consuming anything. So I will even disable it in control panel. So yeah, at the end of the day, let's not remove stuff from this little guy and leave it as complete as possible. I'm going to put the screws back in here and I'm going to try to power it with a really severely underpowered power brick and see what happens. This is what I'm using to try and power it. Yeah, 64 watts maximum. That's barely 3.3 amps or something like that. This is a universal thingy with a few like this, but up until now it could power everything that I threw at it over the time. So yeah, let's see what happens. And we are connected. Power brick is on. Get ready to rumble. Ooh. Yeah, there might not be enough power. It's running. It's running on 3.3 amps. Yeah. Okay. And it actually has windows on it. And it shut off. So that thing is not able to run it. But it's trying to run on 3.3 amps. The second the CPU starts to do something, bye-bye now. Yeah, anyway, we saw it's working. What I'm going to do, I'm going to search for a power brick for it. Initially I wanted to modify this Dell one that can give us how much 4.6 amp, to modify it to be able to connect into this thing, change this basically. But you know what, this is a good working power brick, there's no point in modifying it. So I'm going to search for a power brick for this thingy. Okay, so today for $5 or about €5 bought this from the flea market. As you can see, 18.5 volts, half a volt below what we need, 6.5 amps, 0.5 amps below what we need. So it's basically 120 watts instead of 135 watts. I think we can deal with that and it should work. It came with the big HP plug, had this lying around from who knows what, modified the cable to accept this, lots of heat shrink in here, everything soldered, so no issues whatsoever. Let's plug it in and hope it runs it, because I tested on an HP laptop and the charger itself is running perfectly. This should be running perfectly. I already tested positive inside, negative outside, but who knows if the rest of the system is running or wants to run on this. Plugged in. Let's see what happens. Don't like that. But it might not have anything to do with the charger. Light is on. Hopefully I didn't buy, but yeah, $5 buy a charger, and this is actually defective from something else. But I guess we'll learn about that. Maybe it has a bad BIOS battery and the first startup is not working. Should start by itself. Oh, actually it will start. I don't have a keyboard connected, but seems to be working for the moment. Or actually, you know what? If I power it off and power it on again, I might actually overwrite that and it might directly load Windows. Still light in there, still working. So might have a bad BIOS battery, we'll see about that. Oh, come on, I don't want this. Let's try again. Plugged in my wireless Microsoft keyboard and mouse. So let's get back in here. Fan ramping up. So the CPU is drawing a lot of power at this moment. Hard drive is doing its thing. Remember, we will gain back a few watts, maybe 5 watts, just by replacing the hard drive with an SSD. So this will be maximum 10 watts lower than it should be, so that means about less than 10%, maybe 7%, who knows what. So it's going. Oh, old Windows 7 task manager that doesn't tell us much. So I think we have a dual core in here and 4 gigs of RAM, as we already know. Upgrade time. This is a really nice system to upgrade. Oh, actually, sorry, forgot it. Still has a screw, even if it's really easy and nice to upgrade. It has in it a 1 terabyte normal standard size hard drive, which I need to get out. With that out of the way, we can pull this back and this huge beast is out. And now what we need to do is also remove these 4 screws to get this drive out of here. With those undone, hard drive comes out of here. We are left with only this cage, which obviously will not fit properly an SSD, and I did not buy an adapter. Does not make sense to throw in some money when I can just use some double-sided tape to put this in the cage. So let me unbox this thing. And we are ready. Never ever put too much double-sided tape or you will never get the drive out of there. So this thingy is ready to go in there. First we need to plug it in, although it's not normal to plug into a SATA at such a steep angle. Make sure it goes all the way in before lowering it in place, because otherwise you will never ever get it in there plugged in, because the double-sided tape sticks first. At this point we are attached to this plastic. This isn't going anywhere anymore, which is perfect. And now this is the memory that we'll be putting in. Zeppelin. I'm really used to this thing from back in the day. I haven't seen it for a while. 2 4 gig sticks, total of 8 gigs will be more than enough to run Windows 11 on this thing with an SSD just for web browsing and watching cartoons by my daughters. Next, obviously, get what's already in there out. I think I already showed them to you. Make sure you do not really touch the contacts on the new memory. So I need to unbox it first. And I'm back again. Do not touch the gold contacts. Okay, this is actually locked in the box. That's interesting. Okay, rotate the memory. Put it in there. It's really weird to see orange RAM sticks. I'm not used to them at all these days. Unbox the second one. Come out of the box, memory please. And it's out of the box. Getting it in there. We have our memory properly seated. Antenna for the TV tuner, which we'll most likely never ever use. But yeah, it stays in there. We have powerful enough power brick that it can still handle this, and put the 4 screws back and power this on. I'm not sure if I actually need to change the BIOS battery, which is somewhere around here, or not. So to replace the battery, I'm not sure, probably you cannot really see. Deep in there, there's a little metal latch. You just push on that latch and in theory it should allow the battery to pop up. Maybe you could see it popping up. And now you can get it out of here. Try to not drop it. It might still have a charge in it, even if it's old. And it could be enough to damage something if it... Oh, that was close. If it falls on it and ends up shorting something in there. So battery is out. I will put in a brand new battery just to make sure I don't need to open this up ever. Tested that battery and it was totally gone, so I'm so glad I decided to replace it with a brand new one. This is going to be a bit tricky to get it in there without dropping it. Man, this is really tricky, honestly. And now that it's in there, I'm going to try and push it down. Oh, it got caught up at the other end. This is an ugly mechanism. So one end of it is in and it's all the way in. Yikes. Try to use plastic tools, but yeah, it's in there. It's better if you try to use something plastic and not use metal, but I did my best and I don't think I shorted the battery at all. So yeah, let's put everything back in place. Let's power this on and go into the BIOS and do all the settings. And then put Windows on it. So, to enter the BIOS on this old Medion, get ready to press delete, if you can believe it. So, power it on and start pressing delete rhythmically, about once or twice a second. Now you can stop because it will enter the BIOS, in theory. We have here entering setup. But it got stuck at an SATA port. Anyway, we are in the BIOS. Setting up the BIOS, it seems that we actually have two SATA ports. I'm not even going to bother and check where the other one is. This SSD is more than enough for my needs with this particular computer. This is the memory, we can see it right here. The CPU quite slow, but hopefully it's enough for what we need. Maybe in the future I will upgrade it, so check out a future video, but yeah, for the moment, for watching cartoons again, more than enough. So I'm just going to play around with the settings and then install Windows 11. And I finished my settings, save and exit setup, and by pressing F8 I will boot from this thing after I'm sure that everything is working properly. Okay, so to do this, get ready to press F8, power it on, and slowly press F8 key. It even tells us there, press F8 for boot menu. And it might take a bit. And we have two options, the HDD inside of it and the USB that I plugged in. And now we are ready to boot from my USB drive. I will link a video in the description where I show how to create a Windows 11 bootable drive. Just select it and hit enter. And it might take a while. We have a USB 2 port into which our thumb drive is plugged in, so it is rather slow, but yeah, no problem whatsoever. And that sticker should go because we will have Windows 11 on this. One of the original sticks plus this from one HP laptop. So we have two Samsungs, 6 GB in total. Hopefully will run, and this should be enough for cartoons on YouTube. So yeah, and we are running just fine. So time and currency, Romanian, US, and we are booted into Windows 11. What I will do now is connect it to Wi-Fi and allow it to do its updates, download as many drivers as it can. Yeah, tried again, nope, not working. Search a little bit online, it seems Windows closed this gate, so Windows 7 license keys cannot be used for Windows 11. So for $4 I bought a Windows 11 home key and click on change, and I will input that particular key and activate it with that one. So enter the key that I just bought for $4. Next. Activate. And it worked. So we have Windows 11 Home active on this particular all-in-one system. This is installing updates, so it's working hard, and this thing, it's basically barely warm. So good deal on it. Working like a champ with my modifications in here. And I will keep it on for a while because for sure it will continue to install a lot of drivers by itself. And only after I'm sure it finished what it can install by itself, only then I will start to install what's missing. Keep anyway. Not now. Let's wait for this download. But anyway, much better resolution already and everything is much better. We are still missing a few things. Coprocessor, multimedia I'm expecting to be sound, although I already have sound. Maybe something else. And touchscreen. So this actually has a touchscreen. I was not sure it has it or not. My friend that gave this to me told me it has it, but it looked like a normal screen, but it seems it's actually a touchscreen, which is perfect for my daughters. They will play around with it. Yeah, this poor CPU is struggling. RAM, nah, it's okay with 6 gigs. Although half a gig I set it aside for the video card. SSD doesn't even care. And we're installing the driver. More updates being installed. Even the touchscreen driver. And voila, we have the touchscreen. It installed by itself. So I just have this coprocessor and multimedia controller. So I will go to properties, details, hardware IDs, and search for this 10DE 0AA3, and for multimedia controller in the same location I will see what's written and search for it on Google and install the drivers. So I just did a speed test on the SSD. I think we have a SATA 2 interface on this all-in-one because it really limited the read and write speeds, but not the random ones, and that is what is giving this computer its fighting chance to still be usable. And also touchscreen is not that great. For example, A key, you can see it put a stripe in there and it wrote that. So let me try and delete it and just slowly tap it, and then it works. So yeah, it has a few issues, this computer itself, but for cartoons I think it's enough, honestly. I disabled animations, disabled transparency, although I see transparency in the keyboard frame itself, or it's not actually transparency, it just shows us the top frame and the keys themselves. So I actually did disable transparency and animation effects. So yeah, it's usable, but it's still slow. The CPU is what it's killing it, but nothing that I can do. I did a bit of research and did I click on it? Try it from there. Yeah, I think I need to double tap it. I cannot get it into tablet mode. Microsoft in Windows 11 decided to not give us a toggle for tablet mode. So this thing doesn't really go into tablet mode by itself. And yeah, some things that you would normally expect to just tap on a tablet, you need to double tap to work. But anyway, not a problem. Did I close this? And again, the touchscreen sometimes just messes up. I think it's a bit off, basically. Hey, didn't I have Edge open? I did have Edge open. It's off in knowing where you are pressing. It thinks you are pressing a bit to the right compared to what you are actually pressing, but it's usable. Still usable for my daughters to hit it, do whatever they want to it. Yeah, for 1-2 years, I think it will be okay. So, what can I say? And yes, 1080p video on YouTube, not going that well. I'm sticking to 720p video. And I think it's enough for this thing. It's really old, it's showing its age, but I still don't want to recycle it, and I will still continue to use it as much as possible. So basically that's about it for this video. Hope it helps you, in which case please give it a like, check out my other videos, and as always, see you in the next one. Bye.